There's a lot of this shiny stuff around. I kind of wonder what that is. If that's like lead or, I don't know, like zinc or iron or something. Probably not iron. But I gotta wonder, because this is a, you know, an old gold mining town. It might be something. I feel like I've seen rocks like that before too. It just always, I always wonder what that is. I found this rock just laying on the ground, and on this side you can see a few crystals have formed in that little cavity. I think there is a lot of crystals around here, crystals and cool rocks and stuff. So I will probably at some point be spending some time looking through all these rocks. They're all like covered in sulfur, as you can see. But I bet you there's some interesting little samples around. Found another cool rock here, which is like this really hard black stuff down here with a little crack in it that got filled in with cement, and then some more rock on top. I mean, it looks so much like cement, it almost makes me wonder if this is like a brick or something, but I think if it was a brick, it wouldn't quite look like this. I could be wrong, but there's lots of weird shaped rocks down there. And there actually were a couple of bricks as well that did not look like this one. Yeah, those bricks down there are what you would probably find if you were actually looking for bricks. Got some more right there. This does not look like a brick, which leads me to believe that it was naturally formed like this. Stuff got in the crack, solidified, and now you've got this piece that just looks like it came out of a brick wall, albeit one that was made using a very natural looking stone. Look at what I just found. So that, I mean, that's a gem right there of some sort. It's not like, you know, it's not just coming right out. Look at that. Look at that red. What is this? Now I'm at the point where, like, I've been looking at geology stuff, but I wish I had been paying more attention to, like, identifying stones, because I didn't think I was going to be finding, like, this kind of stuff. That's really cool. I might take that to a rock shop later today, see if they'll trade me something for it. It's got some quartz coming in right here too. I wonder if you break it open, would there be stuff inside of there? Maybe. Maybe not, but like, it does look like, you know, there's little bits here and there. It's like, I think it's inside of all of these little quartz bubbles. So I wonder if you just started cutting this thing open, cutting through those bubbles, I wonder what it would look like. Maybe like a horizontal cut right there. I don't know. I'm just spitballing. It's so cool though. Like I said, I've been loving looking at the rocks lately. And there's so much of this cool, like, green, blue stuff around here. I mean, there's so much of the red as well. Which I was talking to a lady in the rock shop yesterday. She said most of this is just red sandstone. But if you find a piece of it that's harder and smoother, it could be red jasper. Like, I don't know, maybe some of this stuff looks like it could be red jasper. I've seen some really cool pieces of this that are like super red and black. What else? Look at this. This rock peeking out right here is so blue. It's like robin's egg blue. I'm just at this spot down here where the two rivers come together. I haven't seen anything really crystally over here, but just like everywhere you look, there's something interesting. Maybe not like, you know, valuable, maybe not like crystalline necessarily, but just like what's going on in there, you know? Just looks kind of cool. So here's like all the rocks that I collected up in one place because they're interesting enough. It is raining slightly, but don't worry about that. I've kind of sorted them into different categories. So here's that one that had a big red pocket in it. I went and talked to the person at the gem store, and I said I was going to bring that up to them, but I never did. So I don't know. Just, it's not like anything crazy. It's more so interesting just to me. I got a few pieces of just quartz. I got, you know, this one right here is kind of cool. It's got some black in it. This one's really jaggedy and kind of crystally, and this one's got some, you know, lines in it. I got this little guy here. It's one of these like green, I don't know, it looks like sandstone or something. I don't know what this green stuff is, but it's got some crystals in it. Not like particularly pretty crystals, but they're crystals. You got this beautiful red jasper. I think this is red jasper with quartz inside of it, and whatever that black stuff is, there's some of that in there too. You got lots of little stones that are just kind of cool looking. Some granite that looks, you know, somewhat crystally, large crystals in there. Got this piece right here, which is like a little quartz and whatever the heck this stuff is sandwich. I think on one of these sides you can kind of see like the beginnings of a, yeah, it's got all sand all over it now, but I don't know, somewhere on here you could see kind of like the beginnings of some crystallization there, but nothing major. Got some really weird quirky shapes here, and a bunch of this type of stuff where it's just kind of like, I don't know what it is, but it's formed very strangely. And then this, I got no idea what this is. It almost looks like, you know, the least interesting answer there would be that it's like, it was cement, like some sort of cement structure that got like a little stone stuck in it. But if it's natural, then that's very interesting, and I'd be curious what's inside there. You got a couple of these. So these are weird. I got no idea. I mean, it's like almost like volcanic glass, but I really have no idea like what it could be, what the process would be. You got this guy right here. It's just kind of a couple lumps. I don't even know if there's anything that interesting about it, but I picked it up anyway. This right here, so I saw this and I thought that could be some sort of a crystal. And this rock itself is kind of interesting. It's got all these really fine layers right here, but then it transitions into something else over there. And then these little pockets there. I mean, I just don't know. I don't have the tools or whatever to try and pull out a gem out of there. And the rest of these are kind of like, you know, this one's got some weird silvery stuff on it. And then this one's got that too, but kind of like throughout. This one, I mean, it's so cool. I feel like there might be something interesting inside there if you cut it open. But I don't think I'm going to be doing too much more rock counting right here. I got like 2 more days left. I really did not get as much editing done as I wanted to, but you know, c'est la vie. I'm not going to stay here any longer than it's already over a week, because I wanted to stay a little extra to get to that bluegrass jam again. But yeah, Glenwood Springs has been nice. I'll miss it. Okay, I lied. As soon as I turned off the camera, I started walking down the beach and I found this. What is it? It's so weird. It's weirdly shaped. It's weirdly colored. I don't know if you can catch all the kind of little nuances. What's in that pocket right there? Like, for real. Stuff is so weird. So interesting. Some like green stuff up here. Some more weird green stuff right there. That's like almost a little bit translucent. It's just so bizarre. Alright. Fuck it. This will be good second channel content if nothing else. I picked up a bunch of these from the beach. I don't know what they are. I don't know if they're like that interesting from a rock hounding perspective, but they're just so weird. And I feel like if I pick up enough of them, I'm gonna find something that's interesting enough to keep. I mean, mostly it's just kind of a mess, you know? It's just a mess of weird shapes and, and colors and stuff. I feel like this is like what I would imagine like iron ore would look like. I don't know if it actually does. I don't think it does, but like, wouldn't you think on one of these, like one of these little nodules here would be like gemmy? But the problem is I just don't know, I don't really know what it's made of. So if it's not made of the right stuff, then it's not going to be gemmy. And it'll just be this kind of weird shit. Parts of it are glassy for sure. Kind of a struggle to keep everything in focus. There's all these white bits in there, but I don't think that's quartz. I feel like if anything, it's like some sort of calcium thing. That's kind of interesting, the way that's all honeycombed out. It definitely looks cool. There's so many little nooks and crannies. This one's mostly the white stuff, which is interesting. And this one's got a big old blob of glassy stuff. I wonder if I could crack that open along that little seam there, just to see what's inside. Crumbled a little bit. I don't think that's the way I wanted it to crumble, but there it went. Yeah, I don't know. I think that will remain a mystery, unless someone in the comments knows what that stuff is. Alright, I just poked around for a little bit, and I think I found a couple of agates. So this is the most obvious one. See the sun shining through it. I'm no expert, so like maybe they're not agates or something, but I feel like it's got to be something. Let me set those down over here, show them one by one. I found this, which is like not particularly interesting, but it's got some little crystals in it. That's cool. This is literally just a smooth green rock. I have a habit of picking up green rocks for some reason, I don't know why. This here is not particularly clear, but I do believe there's a little bit of agate in there, or maybe it's just sort of like a, you know, primordial agate. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense, but you can see that kind of like banding in there. I think that's kind of agate banding. And maybe that one's just not fully cooked. And this one right here, you can definitely see some clearness through it, mostly at the end. I think that is agate, but it's just like a very, very low quality agate. Right there you can kind of see. It looks pretty translucent. Right at the end. But yeah, I think this is definitely the winner. Come on. Stop focusing on the rocks in the background. There it is. Yeah, that's kind of the winner right there. It's nice and clear. I mean, not crystal clear, but you never know. If you cut into it, it might be. So, I feel like agates are probably the easiest thing to look for. Obviously, if you find some like nice clear quartz, that can be pretty cool too. Any kind of crystals, really. I've been watching a few videos on YouTube about people cutting open geodes. So I don't know if there's any geodes around here, but I don't think so, because it looked like the area they were getting them from was mostly like crumbly, like shale, I think. And this is obviously mostly granite and like, I mean, Lord knows what's up in the hills there, but at least the stuff on the side of the river here is not really, I don't think there's going to be any geodes. Look at the side of this hill here. It's weird. I mean, a lot of these are rounded over, just like the ones on the ground. I wonder if this is a result of the construction of this highway, or if this is kind of just like, you know, over the course of many years, these were all once part of the river, or, you know, rounded over by the river or something, and then they got deposited into long layers. But I don't know, it seems a little far-fetched to me, but that's just my novice understanding of things. I bet you find agates just straight into the wall here. What's that? Probably not agate. It looks more like quartz. It's all like cracked and shattered. Looks more like quartz. Agates are usually smooth with you know, consistent bands that go through them. It's just kind of interesting to look at. I mean, you can see layering in here, right? Like this layer right here versus that layer up there. So you can see kind of layering, which makes me think this is natural, actually. But I don't know, fucking, like, what do I know? Like, maybe during the construction process of the highway, they were moving a bunch of dirt, and like some of that dirt had more rocks in it and some of it didn't. I don't know. Also, this whole hillside is like, looks pretty unstable, so I'm not like that happy to be standing right here, but yeah, you know, what are the odds one of them randomly jumps out at me? Meanwhile, there's still all this stuff down here. Lord knows I'm not going to look through all of it. So these three are the ones that I just showed, and then this one here, it looks a little better when it's wet, but just has some really cool like patterning in it. There you go, see it a little bit. The angle of the sun's not doing any favors with my camera either. And then this piece right here, I mean, it's pretty clear, you know. It's pretty clear, especially in some parts, more than others. But some of this cracking right here does not look like agate to me. This looks like quartz, but it is kind of a pretty pink color. So it could be like rose quartz. Not exactly sure. Not exactly sure about anything. But yeah, there's some stuff out here. This is the best time to be looking for it too, because the sun's shining right on it. So the really clear pieces do just kind of jump out at you. But all these rocks out here are cool. I feel like every rock is a special snowflake. It's got cool stuff about it. You know, look at how blue this one is. It's blue and smooth. It's probably jasper, question mark. Anything that's like really smooth, I just call it jasper. Smooth and opaque. But then you have like, you know, this stuff here. I think that's the red sandstone, like there was back in Glenwood Springs. But then sometimes you'll find pieces of this that are really nice and smooth and don't have any of this like pockmarked stuff. And I think that's when it's called red jasper. And it might just be the same stuff, but just like slightly differently formed, you know. That's the thing about rocks and minerals, is it is all kind of like, there's like a handful of elements that make most of it. So it is all kind of the same stuff. It's just a matter of how much time and pressure and heat was applied to it, how slow it cooled, that sort of thing. Quick rock update for you. I'm just sitting in this gravel pile here, and I got nothing better to do than dig up a bunch of stupid little rocks. That right there is pretty clearly agate. Not the most clear at the middle, but very clearly see that it is agate. That is probably nothing. Some quartz or something. You know, some just kind of like interesting looking rocks. That one's all green. Kind of cool. This one here is a little bit clear at the tip. Nothing crazy. Some little green, blue, smooth nonsense. And there's a lot of these little pieces of granite here that are like, you know, semi-crystalline. And I don't know what all these little dots are, but they're kind of shiny in the right light. Somewhat interesting. Some more of that. Look at that shine. Pretty neat. One of these had, I think it's this one. It's got a lot of little shinies in it, and then if you catch it just right, yeah, right there, you can see that shine on the top, and a little bit in there too, a big one right there. I don't really know what that is. I think I've mentioned this already, but I don't really know what that is. And then this piece here is just kind of interesting. Just kind of cool. Nothing crazy, you know, nothing crazy. Just one agate that you could consider to be interesting. I like this one though. The green, like kind of mossy looking stuff. Yeah, pretty cool. Look at how clear the water is in this river. You can see all the way down to the bottom. It gets pretty deep in the middle too. I don't know how well it shows up on camera. Pretty cool. I'm looking at the rocks around here too, as usual. I don't see anything like super interesting. It's maybe a little something right there. Yeah, I don't know. Not seeing anything super duper interesting, but you know, I'll keep looking, and there probably is interesting stuff around. This little piece of quartz, probably. Stuff like that. There's just a big old rock right there. There's actually a couple in this field here. The river's over here. And then in this little field here, there's a bunch of stuff. Like even these little guys right here. It kind of looks like concrete at first glance, but then you look at it a little bit and you're like, no, that's rock. You can see all the little things embedded in it, and And all the gravel over here, which is pretty clearly comes from inside of there. It's a cool little insight into how all these different types of rocks end up in the same place, because they're embedded. And then over time, this stuff is like fairly soft. It's probably sandstone, and stuff just comes out. You know, if you look at this rock enough, you might even find some little gemstones and stuff. At least some very interesting stuff. You can see the layers very clearly. That's cool. Wow. I wonder how many millions of years ago these little rocks ended up settling somewhere, and how many million years it took for this sandstone to form around it. Little quartz guy. Pretty cool. This looks kind of interesting to me right here, where you can see the red slowly transition into green. And then there's this right here, which I don't know what that even is. There's like a hard transition there, but then a very soft transition there. What does that mean? The puzzles that nature presents us. Alright, time for another little rock report here. Found a couple of little interesting things. So this guy, there's a lot of little pieces of whatever this is around, and they'll usually have some sort of like iron staining on the outside, I assume is what this is. But this one has these little iridescent patches, different colors. So that's cool. Look at that one. When you catch it just right, it's so colorful. Then next up, let's see, just get some of these basic ones out of the way. So there's a lot of this kind of thing around. I'm not really sure what it is, but it's like almost semi-translucent a little bit, and it's got these crystally grains in it, and it tends to have these kind of like, you know, white little patches here. So just kind of interesting, not necessarily like groundbreaking or anything. This one's kind of similar, you know, it could be quartz, or it could be something else. Yeah, I'm not really sure. There's this guy, he's got a lot of sparklies on it. It's a pretty kind of just boring rock for the most part, but it's got this face right here, and there's actually some bigger rocks around that have this sort of thing on them. Yeah, just kind of sparkly. Let's see. Let's save that one. There's another little piece of something. It's probably quartz or something. This guy looks pretty interesting. You can see these little bands here. I should probably wash this one off because it probably looks a little better when it's clean. But just kind of like, you know, you can kind of see a little bit of crystal formation started there too. So I just thought that one was kind of neat. It's kind of a shiny matrix that it's in too, with these pure white bands going right through it. That's cool. And then this one, as you can see, has some sort of like yellow business going on inside of it, and at first I thought, hey, that might be gold, because this area is known for gold, so maybe this is just a little bit of gold that's been left behind. But it's a little dull, so I'm not sure, but it would be cool if that was gold. Not entirely sure. And then this piece right here I just picked up for comparison. It's got a little bit of yellow dust in it too, but this is, I don't know, it's different. It's not as yellow, so I'm not really sure. This right here, I would expect gold would shine a little more, but maybe because it's in a like a very fine powdery form, That would be why it's not shining, but could be either way. I really don't know. Let me know what you think. And on the same subject, there's a little quartz guy in the ground here. This is kind of how a lot of these rocks are. It's like really compacted into the dirt right here. So you can kind of pry it out. But yeah, that's kind of how I've been looking around finding these things. More rocks, hooray. But this one has something actually interesting in it. What is going on there? I need to take that down to the river and wash it off. That actually looks really good. I don't think that's gold. It's kind of iridescent, right? So there's different colors in there. I don't think gold does that. It's probably something else, but like something cool for sure. Oh my god, look at that. On the other side's even better. Yeah, I think if it was gold, it wouldn't show up with those colors, but I mean, this is like exactly where you would expect to find stuff like that, where you have like some sort of substrate, or I don't think substrate's the right word, some sort of matrix maybe, I don't know. And then you have this like infilled quartz with different, like, are those sulfides? Is that what the dark stuff is? I've heard the word sulfides thrown around, but I don't really know. And then in between all that is where you get your kind of rare minerals deposited in there. So that's a cool rock. I was just sitting on the ground right over here in this soccer field. Somebody setting up a net over there too. I was just sitting over there. I would be curious if somebody put it there, like on purpose, but damn, that is so cool. I might keep that with me and try and take it to some sort of a rock shop if there's anyone knowledgeable around. I think that would be cool. Just noticing on this same rock there is also, if you look deep in there, there's some crystals right here, and they look a little blue. I don't know what that makes them. And obviously it's like too small to really like do anything with, but you can see those crystals in there. There's one shining right there. And the ones towards the end are like this aquamarine kind of color. I think that is pretty neat. Look at this thing. This has got a lot of that stuff on it. I'm assuming that this is pyrite and not gold, personally. Because it's got that kind of golden color, but it's also got the like, you know, sheen, kind of like multicolored sheen to it. But I don't know, could be anything really. Look at the crystals in there. So much interesting stuff around here.